off from Los Angeles yesterday afternoon. Thank you to all of you who have given prayers and Jeongseong for the LA seminar. Yeah, last Saturday we had a unified leadership seminar at the Pasadena House in LA. About I think nearly 100 people attended from UPF, WFWP, ACLC, YCLC, and etc. I gave a speech on the title of the Great Attributes of True Love, and Dr. Jenkins also introduced divine principle very, very powerfully. Just within 30 minutes, he shared everything. And also UPF history, and President Cayley and Moffitt also introduced WFWP. Her presence was really so beautiful. And we also had the Ambassador for Peace appointment ceremony. Yeah, that was a good photo. I really realized that really there are really many potential people, and until now I just only focus more on ACLC, but I can see also great potential from our affiliated organization, from UPF and WFWP, from also other NGO group. It was very beautiful. I really also deeply appreciate, even though our Dr. Jenkins has very busy schedule, but he come from the Washington DC all the way. It was very beautiful. Thank you for your organizing. Also NASA, wow, this guy is a really incredible guy to organizing, and also support from the Joshua, his leadership. Thank you for everybody. And next day we had a Sunday service at LA Family Church. Wow, since our Joshua couple take over, the church leadership mission. Oh my goodness, such a beautiful atmosphere. I was so happy to see each one of the members in person. And I gave a speech regarding how to create a model church. Yeah, and then in the afternoon we visited things over there. Thank you very much. Today I'd like to talk about God's ideal family and kingdom of a peaceful ideal world 1 from True Mother's Anthology, Volume 2. Let's start it.
God's ideal family and the kingdom of the peaceful ideal world 1. Though God is the
adjectives such as good and happy cannot apply to any being that lives in isolation. They apply only where there is a robust reciprocal relationship. Even the self-existent God absolutely needs a reciprocal partner of love in order to experience joy and be happy. Do you know where God placed the ideal starting point of creation? In the beginning of creation, God set up the principle of living for the sake of others. In a word, God's principle of creation is that all entities exist for the sake of others. Therefore, if even the omniscient, omnipotent God deviates from the principle, he cannot taste joy, happiness, and love. Therefore, the fundamental reason why people are not joyful and see happiness and true love is because they all escape from this principle of living for the sake of others, and instead live for the sake of themselves. According to the principle of creation, if you live for the sake of others, you cannot help but be happy, because that object partner, you can never have a taste of joy and happiness. However, knowing that God has Peter sorrow from the living in pain for tens of thousands of years ever since the fall of Adam and Eve, we must resolve that grief. There are 8 billion people living in this world, right? Then, out of that 8 billion, how many people really recognize God's existence and know God's heart that is sorrowful due to the fall of a human being? This is just a very smaller number. Then who should comfort and liberate this pitiable God out of countless people? Why did God find me? In this world, there are many people who are externally better off than me. But among them, how many of know God's heart and circumstances, and heart and comfort and return joy to God? If even I turn away from God's lonely heart, who will comfort God's heart? Wow, I really think about this kind of way very often. We today need to know that we receive the calling to realize God's wish and liberate His sorrow. My brothers and sisters, there are 8 billion people living in this world, but really such limited numbers only know God's will, only know God's sorrow, only know God's heart, right? That's why we are the one who really recognize God's heart and God's sorrowful heart. We are the one who only can comfort God. We are the one who really can support and God's will. This is really, really very sad situation because the numbers are so little. Living Divine Principle, eschatology and human history 1, the part of the introduction. Yes, it's a study.
Eschatology and human history.
My brothers and sisters, in these last days, God certainly wants to make one world, right? That's why our world is one family on the bottom. What kind of the ideal content does God want to use to make one world? The ideology of Christianity? The ideology of the Buddhism? The ideology of Islam? Or the ideology of the Confucianism? So far, my brothers and sisters, listen carefully. So far, Christianity has attempted world unification for 2,000 years. They tried for 2,000 years. And Buddhism has tried for 2,600 years. Islam for 1,400 years. And Confucianism for 2,500 years. But how is the world today? I'm asking you, how is the world today? Numerous religions have existed, yet why is the world gradually becoming confused and falling and become worse? Why? It comes to the conclusion that we cannot unite the world with existing religions. Already conclusion is very clear. Just now what Father said. We have already concluded that the world peace and God's ideal world are impossible to realize with any existing religion today. That's why we come to conclusion that we must find a new ideology. Whatever the ideology, if it passes 3 centuries, okay, whatever the ideology, according to Father, whatever the ideology, if it passes 3 centuries, means almost 300 years, right? We can know what kind of the role that ideology played and what kind of the influence it had on the world. What of the Unification Church ideology? If True Father began God's providence in earnest in 1945, it has passed 78 years so far. If we say the Unification Church ideology began in 1945, the end of the period of the 3 centuries will be 2245. When 3 centuries have ended, our descendants can judge whether or not True Parents' ideology really is the truth and the ideology to save the world. However, one thing is certain. None of the sages and saints who have come so far have been treated as sages while they are still alive. However, the achievement our true parents made for the world while they were alive are unimaginable, right? Unimaginable. Just looking at the number that true parents have the blessed people all over the world, how great is the number? From now on, my brothers and sisters, our task is to secure a majority. To build a substantial national Cheonilgu. If only the majority is secured, substantial Cheonilgu can be achieved. So, how do you get the majority? That's just the witnessing, That's why, my brothers and sisters, we really need to find the John the Baptist. John the Baptist is the key. If we witnessing one by one, of course, very important, directly witnessing one by one. But what's the God's strategy? To find John the Baptist. If we restore John the Baptist and his foundation belong to God, right? Why Jesus need to go through such a suffering? Because lost the foundation of the John the Baptist. That's why this time I went to LA, I really feel strongly again through Ambassador for Peace. We need to really find real John the Baptist who can contribute, who can support true parents. So to establish substantial Cheonilgu, we really need to find John the Baptist. That's why I really want to raising up many Ambassador for Peace, not just only ACLC ministers. I really want to show the model. When I was in Asia and invited so many political leaders, NGO leaders, Ambassador for Peace, and women leaders to Bangkok to educate them. I focus on actually Cambodia. I think more than 70-80% I completed education for 3 days divine principle education. All government leaders, Cambodia, NGO leaders, and the tribal leaders, the local leaders. Laid some foundation. I really want to have that kind of consistency and consistency about the education to raising up Ambassador for Peace. That's why I talked to Reverend Jenkins, Dr. Jenkins. Our goal to raise up Ambassador for Peace, minimum 30,000 people, not just only appoint and then to become Ambassador for Peace. Let them fully take ownership. Yeah, that is our goal. And the next content.
Where should this ideology?
That's not what Father is saying. He said, the new ideology must come from heaven. Very important. Come from heaven. Ideology that come from fallen people will someday disappear. Right? Therefore, the new ideology must come from the Messiah who comes as the second of God. That's why everybody waiting for second coming. Son of God, the Messiah, only Messiah can bring the new ideology, new heavenly doctrine. When I come to across a new ideology, I should be able to support it, thinking of it as my own ideology. The new ideology should be an ideology that I can defend by risking my life. The new ideology must be eternal, unchanging, and absolute. Just now, what Father saying, I'm summarized. Very powerful, right? Next content.
The phenomenon of the last days. In the last days, the number of arrogant and self-centered people will increase. Falsehood must surface before truth emerges. It is a historical truth that falsehood must be revealed. Furthermore, the various falsehoods that are causing chaos
will increase. One of the main nature of the Satan is what? Arrogant. Really arrogant, self-centered. The number of the self-centered people will increase. The falsehood must surface before the truth emerges. The various falsehoods that are causing chaos in the world today must be exposed before the truth centered on universal unification ideology emerges, right? Before the movement of the true life can arise, several false life movements will arise. True Father already predicted exactly, right? And today's youth ministry listen to the voice of my mind's wish. Let's study.
The reason God's providence is prolonged and why religions fail to take responsibility for that.
Arised. The first reason that they become subjected to their traditions and rituals, then become dominated by and habituated to them. When a religion becomes habituated and just follow the tradition and rituals, it becomes a religion that loses life. The Jewish people were bound by the law of the Old Testament and had Jesus die on the cross, right? The second reason is that compromise with the world and become secularized and lose their life first. This is like a salt losing its saltiness and the light losing its brilliance. There is a life first. When the truth changed the world through true love, many religious people and churches were dominated by environment. Then they deviated from the vertical relationship with God, and all artistic ties with the surrounding people also fell to the pieces. Anyone whose vertical relationship is cut will betray heaven and become indifferent to others. Therefore, the vertical relationship with God is a lifeline. Therefore, you should not miss this vertical alignment under any circumstances. Next, like the hardened path. No seed on a sprout feel like a hard path. This is the nature of the heart of the people with the fallen nature, right? Even if the seed of the word does fall in, since it's not a field that the word can take root in, just as the birds come and devour and all the fallen seed. Similarly, even if the word enter me, if it cannot take root, Satan will carry it away. Even if we hear precious and very good words, our fallen nature does not have the sensitivity or heart to accept them. Most people are descendants with this kind of fallen nature. The blood of the people with the fallen nature has the blood of the betrayal and the disbelief. Therefore, we need to sorrowful and lament of the fact that we have such blood. When others are deeply moved, if I do not have such a deep impression, I must be sorrowful over being unable to be moved. When others hear the truth and shed tears of gratitude, I do not have such tears or heart of the gratitude coming out. I must be sorrowful and lament. How come? How come my blood is like that? Someone really sensitively gratitude and comfort God. How come my heart is not like that? Why my heart is like a hard pass? Why? Why, Heavenly God? What's wrong with me? Really need to shed a lot of tears and need to repent because I am the one who inherited that kind of the blood of the betrayer. We need to repent, Heavenly Father. I don't want to repeat same kind of issue again and again, Heavenly Father. I really, truly want to be your filial sons and daughters. We need to have that kind of determination all the time. Next. And unable to heart-stick and accept the word well, I really, really need to be concerned and appeal to heaven with tears. If I just leave my problematic self as I am and throw myself away, I will undoubtedly go on the path of death and have no chance of developing. When you sing the holy song, 탄신가, how do you sing it? when you try sing Tansimga, you can check whether your heart is really fickle or not. You know that song, right? Although my body perishes and yet 1,000 times die, still all my love and all my heart unchanging remain with you. As you sing this holy song, do you really sing it from the heart with the determination to become unchanging? Or do you just accept that in your head? Don't we need to have a loyalty that God and I, and true parents and I, are parents and child connected by the bone of heart? How can a child abandon their parents? We are connected to God and true parents with the bone of heart, right? Therefore, we can never betray this bone of heart. It cannot become a holy song that we just memorize in our head and sing. It is about the bond of heart between parents and child. So we can never forget or betray them. Since fallen people easily forget and bond of heart, we must always live struggling every day to not forget that bond. Next content.
Senior members who join the church first are walking.
Whether they are members who joined the church decades ago or the people who newly joined today, true parents teach the same exact principle unchangingly. Even if you listen the same principle, the level of heart realize it is different with each passing year. You already experienced through your Fundoke, right? 10 years ago, just 5 years ago, recently when you do Fundoke, really different about the realization, even though same content of the divine principle, right? Even if it is the same content of the divine principle, we must keep studying it repeatedly and discover our own value. The path of faith is not about looking at others and resembling them. It is to listen to the voice of my mind's wish, and I listen to the word of the divine principle. We are people who were born with God's wish. Our purpose of life is to become people who realize God's wish. That's why we need to know that we are the substantial body of God. No, Century 1. God's wish. We are the one who realize God's wish. The sound and the wish that resounds from the depths of my mind is the voice and the wish of the Creator. God quietly listens to the voice of my mind's wish. Someone who listens the voice of their mind and can overcome any difficulties is a truly righteous person. That's why you really kneel down and listen your voice of your mind. And when you listen the voice of the voice of the mind, and you can hear God's voice. God tell you what to do, where to go. God really can talk through your mind. Someone who listen to the voice of their mind and can overcome any difficulties is truly a righteous person. Therefore, we must listen to the voice of the mind that flows through our original nature. Today, I talk about listen to the voice of my mind's wish. 감사합니다. Thank you, Dr. Young.